What is going on? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk to you about Lucid. Give you a quick overview of some of the data points, what really moved it, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So I did a pre-market video where I went over pretty much what was kind of influencing the price at that stage. So I'll give kind of some further updates, but ultimately Lucid did close 8.8% in the green. Pretty phenomenal day. $2.18 the low, $2.51 the high. So it did break above that very big psychological area of 250. So hopefully in the next couple of trading days, we do continue this momentum. Tomorrow, though, will largely be based on what Powell says. So that's definitely going to be moving the broader market. Aside from that, you had 180.2 million shares being traded. 98.2 is the average. So there was a couple different things really influencing it. So we did get further clarification from, oddly not from Lucid, but Lucid Oasis, essentially same thing. But in case you aren't on Twitter or whatever, go over there and give them a follow. Definitely very knowledgeable and honestly probably an employee of Lucid, but I'm not going to complain again, as I've kind of shared with you. So we got further clarification. So March the 27th, that's going to be their big unveil. So it's going to be associated to the Gravity at the Lucid Meatpacking Studio, and goes over some times right there. So yeah, if you're lucky enough to attend, definitely take a lot of pictures, do all that. But ultimately, what really moved Lucid today was this new rating from Morgan Stanley, even though essentially the initial price target didn't change, so still was maintained at $3. But one thing that really hit home was his bull case was $10. That has not been seen from Morgan Stanley in a very long time. In my earlier video, I went over most likely why this rating change did occur. It's because of, I think, some deep connections, how Morgan Stanley is becoming a market maker in the Saudi exchange. So I think it's correlated with that. But at the end of the day, $10 bull case is very, very good. So that's definitely what did move Lucid today. You had a little bit of a pullback right here, and that was during the NVIDIA GTC, the actual keynote speech. And unfortunately, Jensen, when talking about autonomous driving, did bring up GM. So there's now a partnership between NVIDIA and GM. Aside from that, they did mention Tesla, I think twice during that speech on autonomous driving. They showed a video of a Mercedes, but no actual kind of discussions of Lucid. So even though Lucid does have that partnership, a lot of Lucid investors know exactly what is coming for levels of autonomous driving. Hands-free is coming, obviously, later this year. I guess NVIDIA didn't really see it as advantageous to bring up. So hopefully Lucid does get their stuff together, and then that way, obviously, Lucid will be the prime example of NVIDIA's technology. And then going forward, like, they'll bring up Lucid and hopefully only Lucid. So again, that's what caused a little bit of a pullback. So I think some investors maybe weren't satisfied by that, but still nothing really crazy. I think overall Lucid had a pretty successful day. These are all the transactions that did occur on the secondary market above $100,000. And if I sort it based on premium, you can kind of see there was three big ones. So 9.46, 1.4, and then 1.18. But yeah, pretty good stuff. A lot of big money was getting into Lucid today. So these are definitely night and day difference from the norm. Aside from that, these are all the transactions that did occur on the dark pool. And dark pool is often enough linked to shorting. So given the day, Lucid shorts actually did return. So that's kind of a very, very positive thing. So shorts did return 1.32 million shares. So this is abnormal because even in like the past, when Lucid does go up like 3%, 4%, shorts are still there, doubling down, increasing like 2 million, 3 million. This is them signaling, or at least potentially admitting defeat a little bit, if that kind of makes sense. Still, Lucid does need to continue the good momentum though. And so that'll be, I'll go over the technicals and whatnot in a second, but them returning 1.32 I think is rather bullish. 23.22% of the free float is being shorted, works out to be 281.16 million shares overall are being shorted. Giving you a quick overview of the overall options. So today you had 2.42 million in calls, 738,000 in puts, 47% of all the options being done today were bearish in nature. And just to give you an overview of some of the bearish ones, because that seems to be institutions being kind of doing that, between 11.15 and 11.20, there was $413,000 in premiums. And if we kind of look at that, it looks as though it's a multi-leg transaction. Unfortunately, it looks like most of them are bearish, but looks like for December 19th, 2025, so 276 days out, there was a $1.50 put that was purchased. So maybe big money is somewhat hedging potentially. Again, there's a lot of different circumstances. This only shows the options. They might actually be having physical stock as well, so maybe that's influencing it. They're hedging, but still, nonetheless, a lot of these options that were done were bearish in nature. Of the call options that were done, though, you do see consensus for it to be roughly $3 in the foreseeable future. Bears are anticipating for it to be sub 2, and then you have this right here. That's that big transaction that I did point out. So December 19th, 2025, they're anticipating for it to be sub $1.50, but with it closing at $2.35, it did close between this pivot and this S1. So 263 is going to be the next strong target / resistance. Hopefully, like I said, that'll be touched tomorrow. And then flip side, 206 is going to be the next strong support. So despite the massive bloodbath that was in the broader market, Lucid did do rather well. So I think Lucid itself deserves a round of applause, because in the past, Lucid usually always puts out very good news or receives good news on horrific days, so it gets brushed under the rug. Today was a nice middle finger back to the broader market, but on the actual chart itself, still not out of kind of the way, or out of fear's way, if that makes sense, because it is still below a lot of the key pivotal moving averages. So next point to really watch for is $2.57. That is that 100-day moving average. Right now, given what happened recently with Lucid, stochastic RSI is a little bit overbought, but then again, as stocks do reset, that's kind of normal. So essentially, the next thing as well to really watch for is this gap to be filled. So potentially 260-ish for it to be touched. So pretty exciting time. It was kind of funny today when it did reach a high of wherever it was, so $2.51. It reminded me back in 2022 when Lucid went up like 30% because of a rumor about like the PIF taking it private at an undisclosed amount. I don't know why. Today just had a very familiar vibe. So if you've been holding since 2022, give yourself a shout out in the comments below. But that day was definitely fun, as well as today. So let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. If you do want a little bit further context on exactly what really came out, what Morgan Stanley is doing behind the scenes, take a look at my earlier video during the pre-market. And yeah, that's a little bit more additional context. So hopefully everyone had a good day. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. One final thing, pop over to my Patreon where I give buy signals on stocks, options, and crypto. Many of them have been absolutely on point and bangers. Definitely worthwhile to pop over there and take a look. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.